You're thinking of hiring an attorney to represent you in a medical malpractice case against your doctor. And now someone's told you should go to this attorney who's gotten multi-million-dollar verdicts. Well, here's one thing you need to ask yourself as you're deciding whether this lawyer is right for you. You want to know what this is about? Come join me for a moment as I share with you some great information. Hi, I'm Gerry Oginski. I'm a New York medical malpractice and personal injury attorney. So now you read in the newspaper, you read in advertisements that certain attorneys have gotten great multi-million-dollar verdicts, million-dollar verdicts, $5 million verdicts, $25 million verdicts, $10 million verdicts. And you say, wait a second, that's the lawyer for me. That's the one I want. Because if he's gotten great results for somebody else in the past, then obviously he can do the same thing for me, right? That's the common thinking. The reality is that no attorney, no matter what kind of experience they have, no matter what kind of results they've achieved in the past, can ever guarantee you similar type of results. And you should know, in every type of advertisement that you see, it should say on the bottom, somewhere in small print, it says past results do not mean we can get you similar results, or some wording like that. So you might be wondering, okay, so let's say an attorney is in the newspaper all the time, he's on the news all the time because of all his great big verdicts. The one thing you have to ask as you go in and start talking to the attorney is, okay, I understand you got these great big verdicts, but how much did the clients actually walk away with at the end of the day, at the end of the entire appeals process, after all post-trial motions were done? How much did they actually walk away with? Did that client whom you got a $25 million verdict for actually get a check for $25 million? In all likelihood, the answer is no. Did that client who got a $5 million verdict, was that verdict appealed and was it overturned on appeal? Yes or no? How much did the client actually walk away with? How much after your attorney's fees? How much after the legal expenses on the case? How much after Medicare had to be repaid? Did you, the client, actually walk away with? And you're going to notice that when you ask that question, that the answers are going to be dramatically different from what you've learned about on TV, what you've seen in the newspapers, what you've seen in attorney advertising. So you might be asking yourself, why then would an attorney go ahead and promote himself as achieving such great million-dollar verdicts? Why does he do that? Simple, to generate profit, because the law practice is a business. Some injured patients may say, wait a second, the lawyer is doing this out of the goodness of his heart. He's doing it because of altruistic reasons. And you know what? That may be one component. That may be the reason or the motivation for why he chooses to handle this type of law. But what keeps him in business? I'll tell you what keeps him in business. Getting in new cases, being successful with the cases that he has, either by settlement or verdict. And now he needs to promote himself to tell the world, hey, listen, I just got another $10 million verdict. I got another $5 million verdict. I got another $20 million verdict. That certainly says something about his experience. It says something about his ability to achieve these great verdicts. But what it doesn't say is it doesn't say whether or not the clients have been able to hold on to those verdicts, whether they've been able to hold on to the amount of money that you see generated in the newspapers and in the media. That's something that you never hear about. Now, if a case is overturned on appeal, let's say he got a $25 million verdict and they threw the case out for a technicality. The news media doesn't report on that. So you, the injured patient who's looking for an attorney, never knows about that issue until you ask. Hey, listen, Mr. Attorney, I just saw you got this verdict for $25 million in a case identical to mine. I want you to take my case, but before I do that, before I hire you, I want to know, how much did the client actually walk away with? Oh, the case got dismissed on appeal. What? What do you mean it got dismissed on appeal? And now he has to explain. You will notice that in every type of advertisement, it is rare, it is extremely rare, for an attorney to go ahead and explain the case that they lost or the case that was dismissed. Why not? Because the attorney does not want to give the impression that they are fallible. The attorney doesn't want to give the impression that they've handled a case that has not been successful. Well, let me tell you a little secret. The secret is that if you're a trial attorney in New York, you go to trial, you don't know what the outcome is going to be. You never know. So you put your best case forward, you put your best evidence forward, you do your best while at trial, and now the ultimate result is sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. That's a fact. If you find an attorney in New York who tells you that they've never lost a case, I would highly question that. There are very, very, very few attorneys who could ever say that throughout the country. And that's remarkable. And even then, most attorneys would be hard-pressed to believe that. Why? Because the reality is that when you go to trial, you never know what the outcome is going to be. You could have the best case in the world. You could have the best experts. You could have the best witnesses. And everything is going in your favor. And for whatever reason, the jury may not believe you or your experts or your testimony. And guess what? Now they may throw your case out. Or they may give you a verdict for a very small amount of money. And so, nobody can ever predict what's going to happen. So as you search for an attorney, ask that one question. Hey, listen, how many verdicts have you achieved? And of those verdicts, what has the client walked away with? Because that will give you a very good understanding about what the ultimate result was after the attorney had to go through post-trial motions, which is an attempt by the defense to reduce or get the case thrown out, and then after appeals have been taken. So why do I share this great information with you? I share it with you just to give you an insight and an understanding into what goes on in these medical malpractice cases as you are searching for the right attorney for you. You know, I understand you're watching this video because you likely have questions or concerns about your matter. Well, if your matter did happen here in New York, and you're thinking about bringing a lawsuit, but haven't done so yet because you still have questions that need to be answered, then what I encourage you to do is pick up the phone and call me. I can answer your legal questions. You know, I answer questions like yours every single day, and I'd love to chat with you. You can reach me at 516-487-8207 or by email at Gerry, Gerry, at Oginski-law.com. That's it for today's video. I'm Gerry Oginski. Have a wonderful day.